Seems to me that Mr. Edison puts his name on everything because he's terrified of being forgotten. If you want to be remembered, it's simple. Shoot a president.
Hi everyone, Vegas Film Critic here, Jeffrey K. Howard, here to review The Current War, the director's cut starring Benedict Cumberbatch as Thomas Edison, Michael Shannon as Westinghouse, and Nicholas Hoult as Tesla. This is an incredible biopic of a story that you probably never heard of unless you're a history buff or you watch the History Channel like I do. This is about not the fight for the light bulb, but for what power will run the light bulbs. So you have direct current, which is sponsored by Thomas Edison, which he builds these giant dynamos, these giant power generators, but they can only power 1 mile each. So can you imagine if you had to build a power station for every mile to power all of the light bulbs or electricity in homes and offices? Westinghouse comes along and says, wait a minute, alternating current, you can go thousands of miles, but alternating current is not under Thomas Edison's provides. He doesn't want that. He wants direct current. That's what he's been working on. That's what he's been selling. So Edison is going to big financiers and multimillionaires like J.P. Morgan and getting investments, but he's losing the race because cities are coming to Westinghouse and saying, "Hey, we want your current. It's cheaper and it's just more doable and profitable." And so the whole movie is about the battle between Thomas Edison and Westinghouse not getting along and power plays in big business at the turn of the century. What I love about The Current War is the attention to detail, the costumes, the props. I mean, you really think you're back at the turn of the century. You really think that you're there spying on these guys and all the private meetings, all the spying that's going on with the great Spider-Man. Tom Holland is playing Edison's assistant, who's smarter than him, who's there to tell him, give him a voice of reason. The great Nicholas Hoult plays Tesla, who worked for Edison, who was trying to help him, but he's got this ego like you wouldn't believe. He fires Tesla, and then he goes to work for Westinghouse. You can't make this stuff up. It's big business at the turn of the century. That nothing has changed when it comes to it. Was even more cutthroat, I think, back then. So as a history buff, I was watching this History Channel epic unfolding before my very eyes. It was totally fascinating how all of this came about, how the modern world, in terms of electricity and everything that followed with that, this is where the battlegrounds, where the lines were drawn, these battle lines were drawn to watch this fascinating thing. And Benedict Cumberbatch is just this egotistical portrayal of Edison, who wanted his name. Edison should be on everything, but it didn't happen that way because he made some blunders when it comes to business. He may have been a great inventor, but he was a lousy businessman, and this movie shows that. While Westinghouse, the great Michael Shannon, one of my all-time favorite actors, plays Westinghouse with intelligence, with patience, and with dignity and morals. And then, of course, Tesla, one of the most unsung heroes in history, given the shaft and died penniless. Well, you got to see the movie. You really have. It's fascinating history, one of my favorite films of the year. The Current War, the director's cut. Don't miss it to see where all this energy comes from and the whole story behind it. All right, for more reviews and interviews, just surf on over to my website at vegasfilmcritic.com. Also, check me out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube. I'm Jeffrey K. Howard in Las Vegas. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time.